Fortnite Season 3 just dropped with tons of new updates to the game. One of the big focuses of the brand new season was on the vehicles. Now they have their own mods, just like how weapons have their own customization, along with having much more health, healing pads, items that repair damages, gas not draining so fast since boosting is now a separate meter. Even cars are owned by bosses themselves, and their introduction of nitro. However, this is creating a big controversy in the community. Big surprise. Now, I just want to say that I'm enjoying this season and think these changes are fun, but I do see both sides. So let's get into why this new change is stirring up such a huge debate. First, let's talk about the new mods. The off-road tires return to the game along with new bulletproof tires. Next, we have the cow catcher bumper return along with a spiked bumper too. And then finally, there are two new turrets added, the machine gun and grenade launcher. This is a great change. People have been talking about a change like this before, and it actually is cool to see it being implemented into the game now. This has led to many people, and I mean literally the entire lobby, to use these cars. It is really fun to drive around and have car fights, which we really never had too much before, maybe except for like when vehicles were first introduced back in Chapter 2 Season 3. However, there is definitely a little bit of an issue. If you're caught without a car and someone in one comes across you, I'm like 99% sure you will die. In solos, this might not be too much of a problem since you can still get into someone's car and potentially shoot them inside of it. But for other modes, it can be a little harder to counter without your own vehicle. In my opinion, this makes me a little bit worried that maybe cars might turn into a crutch. We've had crutches before in Fortnite. Like, I would argue that the sniper from Chapter 5 Season 1 was one of them just because of how often I got killed by them, which made me start carrying one. And I swear every single time I would kill someone, they would typically have a sniper. Thank goodness they're vaulted. But the worst of all time is definitely the brute. I still have trauma from those things. The cars update are in no way near the pure annoyance and mind-numbing experience of the brutes in Season X. I don't know a single person that actually enjoyed the brutes being in the game. Now let me be fair, it is still early into the season, so maybe we can start to find some flaws or even weakness to drivers, but for now it can be so hard to fight or even survive without having a vehicle. Certain mods like the grenade launcher and the spike bumper, I feel like just do a little bit too much damage to players. Usually the spike bumper does more damage depending on how fast you're going and hitting the person, and I've seen it jump between 100 to even like 150 damage. And I believe the grenade launcher just does a flat 70 damage, but it has 6 shots in it. And also the boss cars just feel like they have way too much health and are super hard to deal with at times, especially if you just have a regular vehicle. This can lead to very mismatched fights where one player or team doesn't have a vehicle or it gets destroyed. And I notice this a lot in my games that the team with the car will win almost every single time. I would like to propose a few balance changes that could help make the gameplay a little more manageable. At the beginning of the season, it seemed like we were going to get introduced into a new mechanic called carjacking, which would throw the driver out of the car and the hijacker will take their place. To stop them from stealing your car, you would either have to make a sharp turn or like break your car really fast. However, this never showed up in the actual season. This would be a huge step in the right direction since you would have to be a little more careful and not just charge at someone with your car. Now players can add a little strategy to position themselves right by the driver door and potentially steal it. Maybe this change will come later in the season. Another couple changes could be the addition of the EMP and Anvil rocket launcher back. Now both of these are great counters to stop vehicles, but I do think that adding the EMP grenade would be a little bit overpowered and then itself would turn into a necessary item that you would always need to carry since they completely disable cars for a certain period of time. So instead, let's take a look at the Anvil launcher. Since rockets are back with the new boom bolt item, why not include a second one? I remember them a couple seasons ago and how every time I opened a damn blue chest, they would drop out there, and I can't lie, it was bullshit. But anyways, these would be a strong counter since they need to be locked onto a car to actually shoot them, and maybe you need a good amount of rockets to actually destroy a vehicle. Depending on how much armor or what type of car it is, it could probably take around maybe 2, even up to 4 rockets to blow them up. These are just some ideas I had that I think would help balance the gameplay a little more. Now, my opinion is coming from a zero build player, so I can't really say how cars are affecting builds, but watching pros complain and get mad about the cars is pretty funny. I can definitely see how it can affect high level pro tournaments. To be fair though, this community is very well known to hate everything that comes out, so To conclude my thoughts, do I think having vehicle mods and making them a huge theme of the season centered around the use of a car is bad? I do not, and I actually am having a lot of fun in this season overall. But I will say, there are times where it can get a little frustrating to play. These are just some small changes that I think should be made to add a little more balance. Subscribe for more content and let me know what you think in the comments below.